Alright, here we go. This is a custom 3v3 on Crater between the Carbon team on the left side, Ohranex in the Envision Neo, Tangibility in the Classic Striker, and Broadside in the Classic Angel, and their opponents, the red team on the right side, ThePolice in the Classic Striker, Joe987 in the Classic Neo, and AirMechanic in the Steampunk Osprey. And honestly, nowadays I am more interested, like, openings are openings. They're pretty typical. We do have generators on the corners for the Carbon team, and a lunchbox, let's see, on both teams, I would assume yes. But if you, I'm going to hit V here, which is the hotkey to switch this top interface thing. It is very interesting to see what abilities people go with at the beginning, because this is kind of really still the transitionary phase of this mechanic where you have to, you know, buy upgrades instead of wait for your levels. And as you can see, the Carbon team has been able to put, you know, points into upgrades, but the red team has not at all. Ohranex going initially with immediate harass, going straight for the fort. There are some heavy mines on the corners or in the corner areas, just so you know, they can take out anything dropped at the corners, like a Longhorn maybe dropped at the corner for initial front door harass. And now Ohranex does get away with that cloak because he did spend points on cloak. And now Carbon team, I think, is a little bit ahead in terms of the mid fight. There are not too many units for the red team up there. They are still trying to, you know, clear the initial Longhorn and stuff over there. And actually, Tangibility already coming again for a tank drop, and Ohranex repositioning Tangi's Longhorn, and Tangi and Ohranex both attacking in, doing a little bit of damage, not really that significant, but enough, definitely distracting enough to keep the Carbon team away from this middle outpost. Broadside killing AirMechanic in there in that exchange, and the Carbon team will probably be able to get this mid, as they do have pretty good units around, and there are not really anything sitting over there for the red team. And I would like, okay, and again, Ohranex with some more harass, going for straight for the lunchbox, but Police does not shoot. Okay, does actually get it in time, so forces Ohranex away from the area. Carbon team grabbing this middle outpost, and pretty much now is when the artillery setup will begin. Ohranex with a couple of SAMs going for that bottom outpost, but there are two Jackals, actually those are two Jokers, patrolling over there. And so they will be able to take at least one of those SAMs out, if not all of them. I think they actually will probably be able to take them all out. Oh no, but we do have Joe. Joe actually sneaking a Brute down here at the bottom corner, while the Carbon team and AirMechanic just by himself does get killed in the air there, and Police did get killed at the exact same thing. But they are busy with that mid fight. Joe will be able to neutralize this middle outpost, but those Brutes were not set to capture, so they will not walk in. And at this point, I think you really should just pretty much always set them to capture, because when they walk in, they will go to the you know, the infantry slots here, and now they do go into the outpost. One of them does get killed. Police now with more infantry, but not really enough to get it under their control. Tangibility is over there to respond to it, and we do again have Ohranex here, has been able to neutralize this top corner as well. And Joe with the response, so each team responding quick enough to you know, to the outpost drops that were done by the other team, such that they have been able to shut them down. Police reinforcing there with bunkers. We do have Ohranex going again with the SAM drop here at this bottom right, and will probably, okay, does body block this Joker and prevents any of the SAMs from getting killed. Will probably go up to Carbon, but does have just one Longhorn in his build queue. None of his teammates are coming for support. It's just Tangi and Broadside fighting here at this mid fight, so this probably will go right back down. Yes, it does go down to neutral once again. Ohranex now reallocating this Longhorn for some fort attack, but I don't think this will actually penetrate the lunchbox shield, as Police does go directly there and body blocks, and a Brute is firing in, so they will be able to keep the red team from taking any additional damage. And yes, now we do have an artillery war here at the mid. It's pretty much the only way to approach here on Crater, unless you have just a massive amount of units to you know, to push with. And that's definitely not the case here in this game. And honestly, it's one of the only ways to approach any mid. It's pretty much the only way to approach with any mid in this current state of the game with the current maps. Maybe with the exception of, I guess, Thar maybe. And to be honest, there is no real way to approach any other maps mid. Vale doesn't really have a mid, so that doesn't really count. But yeah, especially Crater, it's really hard, especially because the outposts are here and here, and we do have Ohranex coming up again. Oh, and actually supporting Tangi with a Gaddy. Tangi actually able to kill a couple socket units. Does have 2 blaster guardians in his orbit, and oh, there are a couple of random. Okay, that was just creeps walking over. So we will go back to this action. Tangi does cloak, or not cloak away, but land and put his shield up, and does retreat from that fight, not getting finished off. But Ohranex was killed by a brute on the ground a little bit earlier. These rocks look like they are getting softened up. In the meantime, we still have quite an artillery battle over here, but with Broadside, with that Angel, just able to fire down a lot of these units. The airmechanik does lose that artillery, and so does not. It's really hard to keep up with the Angel's DPS, to be honest, especially if the Angel is firing from under cover. Broadside not necessarily having cover right now, but does have a a gorge right here. I don't know what to call it. The abyss. It's chasm and chasm, but here on Crater, it's not really the same thing. But Tangi and actually the entire game for the most part, duking it out right there, and Ohranex getting back to that outpost before getting killed. But the focus fire almost getting him finished off. No one actually getting killed in that entire exchange. I'm a little bit surprised to see that. It's a little bit interesting, and now Joe firing in from the side have actually been able to clear a fair amount of the carbon units. And oh, what was that down here? A small unit drop by Ohranex. And and now airmechanik does have a secret clump of Gemini over here. Let's see if that does get scouted. Broadside now just bringing up some grinders over here at the opening, and we do have Ohranex scouting this top now, so he does see it, and so he probably will warn the top, or the okay, yeah, and he does say they are making a push at top to his teammates. They do have well, who's queuing up the stasis mines? I did miss that. Oh, okay, so who has the stasis mines? I will switch now. Let's see who has the stasis mines on the carbon team. Oh, that is actually the red team, so it was Joe on the red team putting out some stasis mines. Not really with a great positioning here, not super optimal, but the red team actually doing a lot of killing a lot of units just by landing and shooting. And our Broadside now scouting the top. Oh, actually, where did that cluster? Did I miss that entire push? I don't see it anymore. So it's probably gone. I'm not really sure where it went. So maybe they realized that since it was scouted, that they did not decide to actually go with it. But right now, the red team is getting pushed back a little bit. The unit cluster here has been cleared, and we have a lot of drops over here by the carbon team. There are the 3 grinders over here, I'm assuming brought over by Broadside in that Angel, and Ohranex repositioning the grinders, so causing quite a lot of trouble. But all these jokers on patrol also causing a lot of trouble for the grinders. So now the grinders actually going for the moneymaker. Definitely not the most important thing to kill at this point, but Ohranex, oh, actually a little bit low on health, does get finished off on the ground by police. There's so much chaos, and honestly, a little bit too much for to keep track of in this kind of 3v3. It's just a lot of drops. There are not really any. Oh, okay. I was about to say there aren't really solid pushes, but we do have a pretty massive one here. Mostly Dillos and actually about half and half Dillos and Flackers. A couple more Dillos, but let's see if they decide to do a switch to T. But I think this is just going straight to the fort. And Tangi now supporting it with even more Dillos, and Broadside firing with his Angel Fire, but will probably does get finished off by the Secret, but Police would have finished him off in the air anyway. And a lot of Dillos here at the front door. Not too much repositioning happening by this carbon team. Tangi and Ohranex actually firing in, but the majority of those, look at all that dead Dillo, all those dead Dillos, and Tangi does get pinned down on the ground by Joe and that Neo with that stasis blast. And now we have 2. Oh, but an improper high-low allows Tangi to get away there. Not really enough communication, or at least not enough hesitation. I think they just both went for it at the exact same time, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also, in this case especially, not a good thing. So now Tangi attacking this bottom corner with or this bottom right with some Dillos here. Oh man, we do have some goalies out for the carbon team with a honeypot out on the field, so that they will be able to slowly make their way to that corner and that center close. And Ohranex with a longhorn dropped over there. And Tangi here battling airmechanik with that Blaster Guardian, still 1 Dillo drop. So every single time. Oh, and again we do have a push. There's those Geminis that I was missing last time. They are splitting, however, and they will probably just go straight to their deaths. We do have another line of Gemini over here. This might actually work, to be honest. We do have some defensive bombs coming out by Ohranex, and that stasis blast does go down. That the Angel sniper shot by Broadside will be able to clear a couple over there, but there are not really enough units over here for the carbon team to really support that. Oh, and these Gemini went all the way around and made their way to the back of this outpost. Now we do have a surround here on Crater. Recently, the number of waypoints per outpost has been increased for a lot of the outposts on a lot of the maps. Crater was included in that change, and now there are, I think, 20 waypoints per outpost for every single outpost on the entire map of Crater, and I know every single outpost on Vale was changed except for the power stations that are in the center of the map because they don't have enough room for the 20 units to be surrounded. But I think the mid on Duel for sure is included in that, and I think the mid on Nestlorn as well. We'd have Ohranex with some cloaked Sams, but you know, directly against this brute, just such a strong turtle. And Broadside, able to kill that Tech Pod 1. I think that was Tech Pod not 1, not a Tech Pod 2, but does get caught in the act by both Joe and Police, and will be high load here, and does get chased down by Police, and Joe will probably be able to get this finish on the ground. But in the meantime, we do have airmechanik trying to defend against Tangi and Ohranex. Tangi with 4 Longhorn or 4 Dillos over here might actually be okay. They do get it neutralized. There are no infantry here. Joe getting that kill on Broadside a little bit off cam, but this is definitely the more important thing to keep track of right now. They have been able to neutralize this top outpost, but Tangi and Ohranex getting responded to by all 3 of the enemy mechs. Will probably not be able to really do too much with this anymore. However, that was a great attempt, and they were able to neutralize that outpost. Ohranex getting chased down, but in that Neo, really hard to get. And Broadside getting finished off by Police there, but Ohranex does get away because it's so fast. Neo, the fastest mech, not including Saucer Blink, but just by pure movement speed without abilities, Neo is definitely the fastest mech in the game. In the air, I think on the ground, minus once again minus bombers, upgrades ground speed abilities. So now Tangi with a couple shooters and 1 Sam. The shooters were probably what he wanted, not necessarily Sam. That Sam was probably just a slight miss micro. And now we do have airmechanik doing a scout on the bottom corner. There are a couple of carbon shooters stationed over here, so it's going to be a little bit weird now for the red team to fly around. But they weren't really targeted by those shooters. I think I don't remember exactly what the nerf was, but shooters before laid around everywhere was just like unbeatable AA. Anytime you passed over, you pretty much got, injured enough so either you died or any mech that just touched you with their guns just died. And now we do have Tangibility making a secret stack of shooters over here. They're actually going for the rocks first. I'm not really sure if I doubt he really intended on that specifically, but now we do have it scouted by airmechanik. But that 1 Gemini is not going to be enough to kill all those shooters, and Tangi is here to support. And what does Tangi have? Okay, he's just trying to micro those shooters, but there are 2 red players over here, and Tangi is coming here supported by Broadside. And so, airmechanik almost getting killed there by Broadside sniper shot. And as you can see, that sniper scope was the light orange color that is corresponding to the carbon color. And we do have a drop here, a brute at the back door for Joe. He's not dropping at the corners. I'm not really sure if Joe's aware if that the corners are the weak spot nowadays, but they definitely are. Joe is responded to by 2 of the red mechs, and does get away though because he is a super fast Neo with great transform timing. Does get away, and now Broadside again with his sniper shot, but does get caught in the act by Police. Police gonna be microing, I'm assuming a Seeker. Yes, that was a Seeker. So Broadside once again getting finished off in the air by this time the Police again. I think probably with those rockets. I didn't really get to catch that, but now again brute spam by Joe. Brute's definitely considered the most OP unit in the game as of this patch, which is, we can see at the bottom. Oh, why is this not completely gone? Right there. 21,623. And yeah, so definitely brutes have to be nerfed in some way. They are just really crazy strong, especially for the price. And honestly, the Tech Pod 1 is not really even enough to balance it. And to be honest, the Tech Pod thing is really just to prevent people from getting them out early game. And so you can't spam brutes like right at the beginning of the game. Although in team games, we do see that is not necessarily the case, because people can just go straight to Tech Pod 1, and it's okay because the income of your teammates and the unit production of your teammates is okay to keep up and to keep you safe. But red team with this middle outpost with that great surround earlier with those Gemini, Joe getting cloaking away there, not going to be finished off by Broadside sniper shot this time. And a couple goalies sitting there for the Carbon team. I don't think that's really enough at all to move out with, to be honest, especially because of this surround for the red team. And now Tangi with even more shooters. It's slightly out of the range of these infantry, but those jokers sitting there were able to finish off those shooters. And Police pinning down Tangibility. Oh, and getting Tangibility in the air. And Police with boosters. Oh, he is using a booster striker. Not really necessarily the most common thing to see, but it does give you that small edge in dogfighting, and especially with those striker rockets. I think it's at level 7 you can get level 3 rockets. Police does have level 1 rockets only. I'm actually not really sure about those levels. Don't quote me on that, guys, because things are changing every single day. that's a slight exaggeration, obviously, but every single patch, and these patches are happening quite often. And things lots of things are changing. It's not like a little bit every single time. And Joe getting finished off on the ground by Ohranex. And but yeah, it's a lot of stuff changing. It's not like just 4 or 5 things every single time. Nowadays, the patches are so like game changing. Every single patch comes up with a completely different game. It's I mean, you know, not like completely different game, but a pretty much completely different meta game. And now Broadside with a couple secret grinders here at the bottom. None of the red team's actually aware of this. And we do have Tangibility going to the back of, going straight to the red fort, going for the lunchbox, but Police does swoop that in the way, or swoop that out of the way just in time, dropping a Seeker, forcing Tangi out of the area. And does get away, does not get pursued by Police. But now we do have the grinders causing a little bit of trouble here for the red team. All 3 mechs are just here, down here, firing. What is the Carbon team doing in the meantime? The Carbon team is pushing goalies. So are they going to the mid? I would assume yes, they are going to the mid. And Ohranex with a single shooter. The more distraction that they can create for this red team, the better. But they have come back to the mid now. A couple rollers leading the way, and I would assume, oh wow, there are 4 rollers leading the way for those goalies. So the goalies will probably be able to get to that front area, but without really taking too much damage at all. There hasn't been too much or any bombing, to be honest, right now. Oh, and Police dropping Jackals on patrol, or those Jokers. Doesn't really matter, but they are to distract the goalies from firing at the red forces, at the red team's force over here. This outpost has gone down to neutral, and will the Carbon team be able to win this fight? I don't know. There's a lot of goalies, and they are going to get us around here. And where is the rest of the where are the rest of the players? Police bringing some Jackals or some Jokers to distract the goalies, but I don't think it's going to work. I think they are set on capture, so they will prioritize the outposts, and Broadside firing in with his mech right there with that sniper shot. And a couple of Carbon SAMs going into that outpost, but gonna get knocked right back down. The Carbon units have been thinned out drastically compared to the red units. Now the red team has been able to grab this back under their control, and Broadside still firing in with his sniper shot. There is no helix on the Carbon or on the red team, so they can't really shut him down the way that I guess the typical hard counter for that ground-oriented Angel, or I guess the ground-oriented sniper ability of the Angel, which is definitely heavily used in Ohranex with more SAMs here, but with Brutes, with a Brute at that corner, it is going to be a little bit difficult for those SAMs to really stay alive. Ohranex trying to body block, but only one still remains, and he was only able to knock down a couple of infantry and replace them, and they did get replaced immediately with the bunkered infantry. And Joe with a single Brute over here, going to cause a little bit of trouble, but nothing too drastic that the Carbon team can't, or that the Carbon team can't handle right now. Joe cloaking way the hell away, so we'll definitely be able to get away from that Carbon team stock, and does uncloak now. And whoa, Tangi trying to get away here, does get back to that outpost, but it does get hit by a couple rockets from Police, missiles. To be honest, I interchanged the terms, and I'm sure you guys have noticed, so whatever. And Ohranex with a cloaked Gemini back here, going straight for the corner, going for a moneymaker, and the Gemini probably not going to get past that lunchbox shield before the Brutes actually get them finished off. But I think Ohranex able to finish off one of the Brutes, but oh, and his Gemini actually has survived, and all 3 of the red players have come back to respond to this. So what is the Broadside now trying to heal up his Tech Pod 1? Gonna be trying to hide it somewhere else. Does hide it back there on that back corner, so it probably will be safe unless it does get detected and you know, it doesn't get responded to if it starts getting attacked. But Tangi now, where is Tangi going? Directly to the back, does hide, and actually is able to attack that Seeker from behind, so will be able to finish it off. And now decides to go straight for the Brute. Does hit the outpost, so the red team will definitely be able to hear that damage sound. Or do you not hear the damage sound until the shield is down? I'm not exactly sure. I think actually you don't hear the damage sound until the shield is down. Tangi with very little life. Let's see if he gets chased down by any of these red players. No, getting back to that power station before anyone is able to put a small sliver of damage on him. And that was pretty crazy. But now we do have Ohranex again. Oh, there are 2 Gemini over here. Was he really able to carry 2 at level 12 Neo? I don't really think that you can. So probably did a, you know, just kind of ferried some over a little bit closer so he can have those 2 Gemini at the same time on different corners. Now that's really great attack plan nowadays, because the corners have are the weak spot on the fort. And now Tangi killing a couple of units down there. Ohranex getting away. The rest of his Gemini have been killed. Ohranex, oh, very low on health. does decide to decloak and will get chased down by airmechanik here. No, but does not get finished off in the air. And Broadside doing a little bit of sniping, able to glide away. That's really, I mean, look how pretty useless that was. That glide, not that strong, but does transform away. Oh, wow, that was freaking crazy. That was a little buggy right there. But yeah, did transform away just in time to avoid Joe's stasis blast. But we do have 3 goalies here for the red team at the top outpost. Tangi does come here to respond. Will he drop and start sorting? Does he even have sword? Yes, no, he does not. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, my God. This new interface is just screwing my head over. But the red team has been able to neutralize this outpost. In the meantime, we do have Ohranex with a couple SAMs. He has not been able to neutralize this outpost yet. And we do have the red team taking this outpost under their control. Definitely have enough goalies here to keep it under their control. And have some high-level creeps there. It's going to be hard to knock those bulbs down. In the meantime, we do have Broadside doing quick scout, but those creep drops by Ohranex have not been able to really get anywhere. Or I think were actually SAM. So, but we do have a pretty large unit cluster over here for the Carbon team, and Jackals were sent up. So let's see if they can actually get this outpost neutralized. There are a couple of bunkered brutes, so it will be a little bit difficult to actually get there. Broadside firing into the sniper shot. I do think this will probably be in Red's favor at this point, especially all the mechs are here except for police coming back to the fight. And at this point, yeah, all the Carbon units are pretty much getting cleared and finished off on the ground. Here is the Tech 2 pod for the Carbon team. They might want to protect that a little bit better, except instead of just sticking it right there at that center close, and might even want to just socket it or something like that. However, they do have Moneymaker socketed, so I mean, it's not necessarily that important, but you travel really slow, or you move really slow with a tech pod in your cargo. It's like carrying a grinder or a goalie or something like that. And Tangi getting chased down here, but does not get finished off, taking a slight turn, and does get back to his outpost before he gets finished off. I guess he was chased down there by Joe in that Neo. I'm a little bit surprised Joe is not able to catch him, but Tangi full blast speed there. Oh, and Tangi with level 3 rockets, I think. Level 3? Yes, level 3, air-to-air, and now ground-to-ground missiles. I guess I'm going to go with missiles for Striker and rockets for Helix. Why the hell not? And Joe doing a quick scout on this fort. There's pretty much nothing defending over there, and Tangi again on the enemy side. Might actually be, okay, he was able to finish off that Moneymaker, and going for this Aegis undefended, completely undefended. In the meantime, we do have a pretty large goalie cluster over there for the Carbon team, or for the red team, at Carbon's top left outpost. And Tangi, oh my God, barely getting away there, does get his rockets off and finishing Joe in the air. That was ridiculous. Joe dropping to LOL, Tangi just saying hi, and Joe saying they have push it bot, forgot to put the exclamation mark there, but definitely does warn his team and warns the enemy team that they are aware of it. And look at all those Gemini and Longhorn coming for this red fort. But the heavy mines do go down, and the stasis mines as well, so they will be able to finish off quite a lot. This close center outpost for the Carbon team has been finished off, and at this point there are a lot of heavy mines sitting down, but they're not necessarily in the right position. The pathing for Crater is not necessarily a very well-known thing. And at this point, the Carbon team has been shut down here by the red team and their heavy mines. However, the red team has been significantly thinned out here at this upper left outpost. So at this point, the Carbon team might be able to actually retake this top outpost. They have quite a lot of units, a lot of fixers actually. And oh, are the heal beams blue now? Before I think they were like the standard goldish yellow, and now they're blue. They're similar to the color that the heal beams / recharge beams are for the outposts and fort. And I do think Carbon team will be able to eventually neutralize this. There are a lot of units over here, a lot of level 4 creeps. Oh, actually, those are SAMs, and a couple of level 4 creeps as well. We are already at 23 minutes into the game. They have been able to neutralize this outpost. There are definitely enough infantry over here to take this outpost under control. However, the door is blocked by that goalie. One SAM is up, and that's it. Now these Jackals, or these Jokers, are over here that got sent out by the red team. Yeah, the Carbon team has been able to clear the rest of the red units, so that will go back down and I don't know how this game will end at this point. However, there is a pretty large tank push over here by the red team. I don't know who snuck that by. I guess it was police, and now it has been able to neutralize this bottom outpost. The Carbon team has been able to take the top back, but now they will lose bottom if they don't respond in time. Police with only 3 level 4 creeps. Let's see if another one can go in before a bulb gets knocked down, or before an infantry gets knocked down from those slots. And is there another one coming? Police does have a couple infantry. Broadside trying to defend against this. Still 3 infantry in those slots up. Ohranex with some SAMs, but police is over here. He has been able to take this outpost, so pretty much a post-trade, not necessarily a trade, but I don't know, a swap, a switch. The red team lost the top, but was able to retake, or not retake, but take this bottom outpost. Broadside trying to snipe over here, but getting caught by 2 red mechs. Trying to glide away, and to be honest, that glide doesn't even seem like it really slows the Angel down, or speeds the Angel up, and Broadside actually able to get away there. And now Ohranex and Tangi actually have been able to kill quite a lot of units, and firing in still. There are really no more red units over here. However, those brutes are still there. Oh no, brute spamming OP. They will be able to hold on to this outpost because of those brutes. And now, where is the Carbon team going to go? They are still going to try to retake this bottom left outpost. Broadside getting killed on the ground by police. And yeah, I guess, yeah, those level 3 rockets, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, level 3 missiles, I guess, is what I'm going to go with. Yes, police does have level 3 missiles. Ohranex with a cloaked goalie, or cloaking to get a goalie all the way over here to this corner. I don't even think he was not even able to penetrate that lunchbox shield, so that drop was not really that effective. And Ohranex gonna be finished up here. Well, no, he does land. And Joe, will he be able to get the stasis on Ohranex? Oh no, Ohranex trying to predict that stasis going down, but does get finished off in that liftoff because Joe never dropped for that stasis. The red team still holding on to this bottom factory. Carbon team still trying to get it. Oh my god, look at all those missiles following Tangi. If Tangi lets that big cluster of seeker missiles hit him, but strafing around, staying alive, super OP, but they have lost the center close. 2 brute drops. The brutes can neutralize so fast, especially because they have a bonus damage on outposts, and they are such high DPS to begin with. And red team will probably be able to grab this outpost under the control. No, a bunch of SAMs going down for the Carbon team, and they have been able to not neutralize, but retake this outpost back from neutral. And more SAMs going down after this outpost got neutralized, so once again we'll go back up to the Carbon team. And Broadside doing the loop-de-loop. Look how crazy that animation is. The animation is just so so ridiculous. It's just yeah, it's just really distracting, to be honest. And I guess the red team is starting to smell blood now. They probably will. Oh, and Ohranex does call it incoming top. So, oh yes, there are a couple goalies here, and Broadside does see it as well. Can drop a grinder in the face of one of those goalies to stop them, and probably do his or do a sniper shot from behind and kill those goalies really quick. But airmechanik is here to support his goalies moving out. 1 goalie has been killed, but 3 are still 3 here. Probably not going to survive too long against all three Carbon mechs and a Longhorn line. Oh, Tangi getting finished off there. I guess trying to chase police back, I guess, is probably what happened. I didn't really catch that, but probably trying to catch police on the way back to his outpost. But police getting that finish off on Tangi, especially with those rockets, or those air missiles, super strong, especially at level 3, because you shoot 6 of them and they are really, really freaking powerful. It's almost insta-death when you see a striker in the air with those rockets, or with those missiles. I don't know why I keep interchanging these words. I don't know what's wrong with me, but Carbon team has been able to retake this middle center close. There is still a goalie sitting here for the red team. There are 2, actually. They might be able to neutralize this outpost. No, creeps do get dropped, and let's see if, oh, Tangi actually pinning down airmechanik will do probably a cliff transform, or a cliff dive to fake. No, he doesn't. He's just hovering over. Oh, and Tangi killing airmechanik on the ground there with those rockets on the ground. And Ohranex now saving his Tech Pod 1. I think that's a Tech Pod 1. Let's see. No, that's a Tech Pod 2. So yeah, sure. Why not? They look really, really similar. They really, really need to make them look different, because it's, I mean, even though you can tell them visually different, it's just too similar. And now Ohranex with a Longhorn, gonna drop it. Oh, he is creating hidden cluster of Longhorn that is not, let's see if that's on the red team's map. No, it's barely out of their radar. However, careful positioning by Ohranex, you know, may or may not be able to, and yeah, now Ohranex is stacking tanks near their fort. And a brute drop here, doing a little bit of damage, but once again, oh, there is no lunchbox on the carbon fort right now. There are 4 Longhorns sitting over there by Ohranex, and he's just bringing Longhorn after Longhorn, creating quite a cluster. I don't know if the carbon team actually notices that there is one definitely absent player, and airmechanik once again on the ground, getting stalked by Tangi, and Tangi just drawing those striker rockets, or those Seeker missiles. And how many Longhorn does Ohranex have now? He has 6 now, and I guess level 15 and really energy efficient with his cloak. Let's see if it shows up. Okay, now airmechanik does see it, and airmechanik just dropped the capital LOL. Ohranex has to move out now, and says, "Come here." He's saying his team to come there, I guess. But yeah, Ohranex definitely has to move out now. There is definitely enough defenses over here to defend against that, but he might want to switch them to T because this isn't really defended. I guess brutes are insane defense as well, but might try to get a good surround here. Ohranex, yes, will start to reposition all these units, but running out of energy. Tangi says there are some shooters sieging mid, and all of Ohranex's tanks have been killed, but providing to be a great distraction, the shooters are probably going to be able to neutralize his outpost. Sams go down, so only 2 brutes up left on those on that mid. The red team might actually want to resocket some brutes. 2 bulbs or 2 brutes still up. The carbon team not going to be able to get this neutralized. Some level 4 creeps are walking in, and now the carbon team the red team has been able to hold that mid. Still desperately trying to retake this bottom factory. A lot of grinders going down by, I'm guessing, Broadside. He's probably the only one. Yeah, I think he's the only one with the grinders in his loadout on the carbon team. Is there anyone? Oh, police killing Broadside in the ground. So crazy how strong those missiles are. Broadside says nice. I say a little bit OP. Those rockets are so strong. So you really don't even have to kind of use that careful timing and catch someone with lower health, because 6 missiles just pretty much insta-kill on any mech. Maybe at level 15 with really high health, maybe a little bit different. I haven't done exact testing, but from my experience, it's just so strong. It just kills you almost instantly when you see the enemy mech. Broadside knows what I'm talking about for sure. Yeah, now the carbon team has been able to actually clear the red units down there and retake this outpost under control. So now we are back in an even game, 31 minutes, and I am starting to lose my voice. When is this game going to be over? At this point, it's back to pretty much an even game. Oh, the carbon team has continued sending these creeps and these SAMs, but however, it's just really heavily defended over there by brutes and a goalie in the front right there. So it's not really going to be that effective, and kind of like a staggered push coming here for the mid for the carbon team. It's not really going to do too much to contest the red middle outpost units and the defense sitting over there. So both teams able to hold pretty well. And now Ohranex getting a pretty good surround here with his Gemini. I don't know if this Gemini will prioritize on... Oh, yeah, or actually that was a Longhorn. It did prioritize on neutralizing that outpost. Now Gemini will make their way out. Ohranex with some SAMs, but there are still 3 goalies and a brute sitting over there. And it's still, again, another contest down here for the bottom outpost. Joe trying to get it neutralized, but Tangi with that striker sword able to finish off all those infantry that were dropped all in the same spot. And now this middle outpost is still neutralized. These rollers are out here for Tangi. I guess he's just using them to draw the fire away from the goalies. And now the goalies have been repositioned with only 1 more infantry left to socket there for the carbon team, or for the red team. Let's see if they can actually get it. No, one does get knocked down. And Broadside still back behind enemy lines firing. Oh, those were shooters though. But you know, shooters really worth it if you can actually use them as supplemental units to to help your attack. But at this point, red team has been able to hold once again. The carbon team's not going to be able to take this quite yet. I would expect a large mass of goalies by either team. I really wish these loadout counters would definitely work. I think they're working on the left side for one of the players. No, definitely not. There are no numbers up there. So that is still buggy in replays. I got to start bothering Carbon about that. But Yeah, they're like that, and they've been like that for a really long time, and it's fine. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just now I'm not really even used to looking at them. So when I'm watching a live game, oh, police getting killed in the air by Tange. But yeah, when I'm watching a live game, it's just I never look at them, even though they are correct. I'm just not used to looking at them anymore. And now Ohranex gonna be able to neutralize this outpost. Actually, there's only one more. Okay, it does go down to neutral. And let's see if okay, none of the Carbon Sams did walk in. But are there any hidden clusters of units for any of these teams? I don't think so. It's 76 to 59. The upkeep count is pretty low considering how late game it is, and you know how long or you know how large this map is. However, there's only one power station here for each team. The middle outpost is not a power station; it is an outpost. I think that's honestly how it should be. With no sockets, that's probably how middle outpost should be, because the middle should probably only give you map control and not, you know, specific snowballing effects. I mean, it's okay to give you a little bit of snowballing effects, honestly, but to be honest, with the current maps that we have right now, it's just a little bit too drastic. Snowballing, in my opinion, my personal opinion, can work if we get better maps and if we have less drastic snowballing effects per outpost control. Right now, outposts and power stations, factories and stuff give you a lot of benefit. It's like a lot of credit income, and the power stations give you like, I think it's at 10 power still or something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's really, really high. To me, it's okay for it to be that high as long as it's more specialized. And, you know, the outposts on each map are, you know, are more carefully chosen as to what type they are and as to what is protecting them in terms of neutrals and how heavily, not heavily, but heavily protected they are in terms of neutrals. Red team still holding on to this middle outpost, but Ohranex with another Longhorn here does decide to go on the top. This is lasting quite a long time. Okay, is this out of the Brute's fire? Yes, it is. For the most part, I think it's getting a little bit, okay, now a little bit of damage going on that Longhorn. But the Longhorn will start to fire at this fort and will just start pelting away at this shield. Police does come back and respond to it. It does not pass. It does not get through the shield quite yet. And we are at 35 minutes. There is no overtime in this mode. Honestly, I really do think they need to replace it with some other mechanic. Either that or give us map editors so we can actually get maps that will make it so that, you know, games will not give us maps, but give us the ability to make maps, so they will be less like this, where games can just continue and continue. There aren't many pushing lanes, honestly, especially in Crater. It's top, middle, and bottom for the most part. Yeah, and you know, at the beginning of the game, it's really, really hard to push, especially with that line of neutrals there, screwing over the units that you have sitting over there. Ohranex with another sneaky Longhorn, and Tangi kind of distracting. Ohranex again putting it at the top, but instead of going for the fort, it is going for the enemy brutes and will probably get finished off. Oh no, the brutes are not even attacking at them. Oh no, the Longhorn is now moving, so once it gets in range of the fort, it will start attacking, but it will start taking damage from those brutes. And now Tangi finishing off I think that's a Seeker. Yeah, that is a Seeker on the ground. Oh, but we do have a pretty large Longhorn. Oh no, that is mostly Gemini actually. With a few grinders leading the way, they actually move at the same speed as these Gemini for the most part, and which is really, really a great thing, to be honest. It is making a depth push for the fort, but Stasis Blast plus Stasis Mines equals pretty much a shutdown push. There is nothing else happening on the map for the most part, and this push isn't really being supported by the Carbon team. Oh, and those mines. Oh, but Ohranex set them to T, so they will start to split. Oh my God! Now Ohranex was able to reassign them to capture, and they might actually neutralize this outpost. They definitely wouldn't have gotten too much damage down on the fort. These need to be reset to hold position. Broadside setting off his loop-de-loop, trying to mass command those grinders, and the grinders actually going for that tech pod. The Carbon team has actually been able to take this middle outpost with the help of that Y switch to T by Ohranex, and now the grinders have been they have been killed, but at the cost of this middle center outpost. The Carbon team really, really needs to start defending that and not lose it, because, you know, it's really, really vulnerable to counter pushing or to pushing in general, especially because they are completely surrounded by red outposts on all sides at this point. Fort on the right, power station on the bottom, factory on the top, and middle outpost on the left. We do have Tangibility continuing pressure on this top outpost. We'll try to kill one Brute for the price of a, what is that, a Joker? That is a Jackal, actually. He does kill the Brute, and now trying to get these infantry slots or not delit, but knocked down. More Jokers are sitting over there, and at this point, this middle close, the center right middle close. Oh my God, I don't know what to call that, to be honest, but that has been knocked right back down to neutral, but it's still really Carbon controlled as and does go right back up to Carbon's control. Yes, it does, and we do have a pretty large Jackal push by Tangibility, and another Joker push over here by the red team. I'm guessing that was who has the Jokers in their okay, it is Police that has them in his loadout. But now these Jackals are going straight for the fort. They are probably just going to be finished off on the ground right before they get there. Let's see if any of the Carbon team comes to support it. No, they definitely have to, keep their attention on what's even more important, which is holding this center and preventing a neutralization or even worse, an outpost grab on their side of the map. Sam's going down. Oh, level 4 creeps going down for the Carbon team. AirMechanik trying to heal up his goalie, but it's probably not going to. It might actually be able to finish off this Gemini. Let's see. No one on the Carbon team saves it. Okay, now Ohranex does, but there is no outpost energy to heal it up. So, and we do have a pretty large Sam and what is that? Jackal. That is Jackal push by Tangibility here. Probably will get the. Okay, it does get the outpost neutralized, but once again, still really well surrounded by red units. Though, so the red team will probably be able to hold here, and yes, it does go down neutral, but once again, yep, is still surrounded by red units. 39 minutes. This is going on the longest game that I have ever casted. Yeah, it is pretty much. I think the next longest game was like 36 minutes or something like that, which also involved Broadside. Thank you, Broadside. And Joe almost getting killed by, well, I don't know, Tangi and Joe almost killing each other. And at this point, Broadside killing quite a lot of units with his Angel Fire. They still have control of this middle outpost. They can actually just continue the pressure on that fort. Drop. The red team has, because losing this outpost and actually getting that mid neutralized, they are past their unit cap. Now getting that middle outpost back, they are now under their unit cap. But yeah, they had way more upkeep than their outposts and generators on the map could support. We do have honeypots here supporting this carbon center close, or on the red side. Oh, and actually Ohranex able to clear this top and take it under Carbon's control, so they might be able to actually finally finish this game. Our AirMechanik calls GG. Tangi taking the middle outpost, and this looks like it's going to be this looks really dire for the red team with map control for the majority of the game, losing to, not necessarily losing to, but losing their outposts to drops and pushes. That really cool Y switch to T by Ohranex when they had that big Gemini push to the fort, and now Tangi moving out with shooters, and it does look kind of bad for the red team. They might lose. This is their very last outpost under their control. These shooters are actually shooting through this. This is a bug. I think they definitely need to address that. I know that has been reported, so I don't have to make that bug report now. But those shooters finished off by enemy bombs. I'm pretty sure those enemy bombs, right? And but it's still their last outpost, and it's at this point it's 58 to 94, 119 max to 65 max on the red side. The Carbon team definitely has a huge advantage in terms of units, and they have quite a lot of them defending their outposts as well. And this is one not too much, that one not too much. The mid is completely undefended, so if the red team decided to do some kind of drop, they would probably be successful there at the bottom. AirMechanik with 4 brutes, but not setting them on capture. They are still trying to attack this grinder over here, but now the Carbon team with more units coming over here to this fort. This is almost going to be over, I'm assuming, because they're just getting thinned out even more. Oh, and now the red team with a couple of desperation drops. Joe and who was that? Joe and AirMechanik with a couple of drops at the corners, but at this point there are too many Carbon units at this red fort, and I don't think that an AirMechanik just kind of sitting there waiting for those goalie to come. And yeah, it's not really going to be enough. They're definitely going to get there in time. Police calling the GG, and Joe goes, does Striker have a new ability? Yes, Striker not necessarily have new ability, but their Striker rockets, missiles, are now able to be shot on the ground, and once you upgrade them, level 1 gives 2 rockets, level 3 gives 4 rockets, and level 6 gives you, level 3 gives 6 rockets, and They are pretty damn devastating. I don't know if they scale, their DPS scales to the level, but regardless, they can kill like crazy. But Ohranex Tangibility and Broadside, the Carbon team, taking this custom 3v3 on Crater over ThePolice Joe987 and airmechanik. What was that? Something like 43, 44 minutes or something like that. That definitely the longest cast I've ever done. And I'm assuming if nothing replaces overtime, it will probably not hold the record for that long. So guys, if you have any replays to send in to me, you know what to do. I am slowly developing a migraine, so I'm going to stop it right now. Make sure to click the links in my video description. I'd really appreciate it. This is RUI, and that is game. See you next time.